Hello, Graham Vincent, Violinmaker and musician. Back in the workshop again. I'm working on the lightweight violins that I've been talking about. This is the second one of them, and I have to say, it is freakishly light. It feels so light in the hand. It's ridiculous. Anyway, at the moment on this one, I've just set the actual thickness of the neck to about sort of, what is it? What do I set it to? 18 and a half there, 20 and a half there. And it's got a flat on it at the moment, so I'm just putting some shape into it. After that, onto getting edge work sorted out. Edge work, corners, just lots and lots and lots of sanding really, and then this one will be ready for staining with a sort of a tea stain. I use a mixture of salt, borax and very strong black tea. Just let me get the other one, hang on. So this one is one that's been treated with that black tea already. Just just enough difference to make it significant. The important thing about staining with tea rather than some other stain is it gives a uniform stain regardless of whatever the grain structure is below it. So that if you will have seen this on electric guitars where sometimes they're actually going for this effect, and they will use a sort of a quite a strong stain on a rippled maple, and it highlights the grain, but it stains it in such a way that the dark bit is always dark and it doesn't move so much with the light. So staining with tea basically is uniform across the grain, so that on violins where you want to see the sort of movement in the timbre, you still got that. Anyway, yeah, so this one is a little bit further advanced. It's got the neck shaped and everything like that, so that's kind of ready for the UV box really. I mean, before I put it in the UV box, I'll just go over it again with a sort of a 600, 800 grit, something like that, just to sort of knock down any sort of raised grain that putting the tea on has created. So I've got this flat here, and obviously I want to end up with a nice violin neck shape. So in there with a knife. Like I've said 1,000 times, sharp tools make all the difference. You've got to have sharp tools. They make it safer because you're not pushing so hard, so you're more in control. I know that sounds exactly like the sort of thing I'm probably going to say just before I cut myself, like foreshadowing in an obvious film, but hopefully not. Well, that's looking better already. Good. I've already taken this down level with the side of the fingerboard, so I'll just be taking this knife cut up to within sort of a millimetre of that line, I guess. Cluttered workbench today. Last day of January. January has whipped past. I started these in December. I mean, they seem to have taken quite a long time, these two. I think a number of factors, really. One is I've had loads of other stuff to do, like a repair I was doing, well, 2 repairs actually. I put together an old cheap violin that the neck was falling off. I had to sort that one out, and then I also had a repair to do on one I made a few years ago. Not something I do very often, to be honest. And also we had Christmas in the middle of it, so clearly lost a few days. I think about 10 days actually, all in all. So this whole process from start to finish on the calendar has taken 6 weeks actually. So if you knock out 10 days and a couple of repairs, it's not quite so bad, is it? I think the also, because, as I've said previously, the preoccupation with this pair of violins was making them as lightly as possible. The wood I've chosen, which is lime, which is supposed to be incredibly easy to carve. Yes, is easy to carve, but there's a downside to that softness, and you do have to take more care with some parts of the process. So in fact, I don't think I really I don't think I gained much time by having a more easily carved wood. In fact, if anything, I'd say it took longer because of it. So basically, from start to finish, well, in the white, just the start of the finishing process, shall we say, has taken me just over 4 weeks. So it's just 2 weeks per violin, so it's not too bad, is it? I've got I'm doing a batch of 3 violins after this. One is going to be bird's eye maple. One is going to be beech, which I'm looking forward to doing because I've never done one in beech before. And the third one is going to be pear wood. I've got all the wood sitting on the, if you've seen a previous video of mine, you'll have seen me showing you that wood proudly. So I think I'll try and film as much of that process as possible. I probably won't have a sort of subject-driven videos, just maybe just a sort of workshop progress kind of video and show a bit of the process in action. Okay, so that's still looking a bit lopsided, isn't it? There's a bit much meat just here that needs to come out. So there we go, a bit more like that. To get that lovely curve, you sort of, what I'm doing is I'm almost creating a movable pivot with this thumb and then holding the knife there and then just swinging it around that pivot point. Like, do you see that? It helps to get a really consistent cut. And obviously the more you can do straight off the knife, the faster it is with the cleaning up and scraping and filing and whatever else method you might choose to remove timber. And also working with a knife is lovely and clean, and there's no dust, no noise, which makes it really nice. I like it. A bit more out of here. It also leaves the grain in a near polished sort of state, which is always lovely to see. How's that looking? Getting there. I'll come back and refine that after I've done this end, when I sort of connect them up. Yeah, too much rubbish on the bench here. I need to... What a shame I'm not a tidier worker. Yeah, so these will be going in the UV cabinet for a couple of days, just to darken up a little bit before I proceed with the finishing work. You're probably getting bored with this now, so I won't show too much more of this. I think I'll take the video up to the point where I've finished shaping these two sides and then joined them up together with a knife, and then I mean, sure, you can work out how I use a file or a rasp from that point onwards. The only marking out I do on this really is I have a centre line marked. I made a few violins a while back where I think I left it too flat in this section here, more like a guitar neck. I suppose that must be the fact that I played the guitar long before I played the violin. But I had a few comments about that, so we don't do that anymore. But at the end of the day, if you really, really wanted to do that and you felt that was the right thing to do, then you're the one making the violin, so there is no right and wrong, really. I'm sort of whittling rather badly here. Waffling on and whittling, it has to be said. So, anyway, but, you see, we're making quite good progress, though. Certainly looks quite a bit different to when I started the video a few minutes ago. I'm hoping you can see all of this. Ah, the joy of a nice sharp knife. Right. And then you sort of tip it until it's just biting, and by doing that you can actually control how much of a shaving you're taking off. That's one of the joys of working with a curved bevel on a knife. I tend to have mainly curved bevels on the actual hand carving knives. I've seen some people with flat bevels, seen people with curved bevels, so it's just a question of what you like, really. But I like the fact it means I can control the cut like that, you see. Right, I reckon we're almost at the point where I'll move over to a file. Anyway, for those of you who don't believe that I can make a violin in 2 or 3 weeks, I hope you've seen the speed with which that neck has kind of appeared. So there we go. There's a bit of a flat there still. We're not ready to finish with the knife just yet. Yeah, okay. Nearly there. there's a lot to come out just here, like that. That's all very well, but you've got to be a little bit careful you don't run into a patch of grain that suddenly digs the knife in and takes you beyond where you want to be. No, I think we're ready. Right, I'm going to get on and file this neck into shape, and probably the next time you see it, it'll be in the UV cabinet, and I will be working on something else.